to 2 minutes, let some more people come in. That way there is enough people on the chat to kind of feed the questions, because me and Ryan are going to be here firing questions back and forth. While we wait, again, what I love to do is, where are you guys watching this from? We typically get people from, different countries, different states. Where are you guys watching in from? I love to kind of see where the viewers are at. Fantastic. So we're getting a lot of ones.
Had to let the dogs out of my room, which is probably a good thing. That way you don't hear a bunch of barking chihuahuas while we live stream.
Yeah, fantastic. All
They
right,
all say
guys.
hello, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. So, all right, guys, I think we have enough people to go ahead and get started. So with me is Ryan. I'm sure everyone knows Ryan, an amazing print-on-demand seller, both on Etsy and on Amazon. YouTube channel, Ryan Hogue. You want to kind of jump in really quick, Ryan, and kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, happy to be here. Happy to be a part of the HelloCustom YouTube channel for the first time. Steven, I met last year, and he's just been such a blessing to the whole print on demand community, because you're so good about sharing your experience in a relatable way and making things seem achievable. I think it's something about, man, the way you deliver your message, it resonates with people. So I'm happy to be here. I've been doing it since 2017. So a veteran, I think that makes me a veteran at this point.
Yeah.
Various different approaches to print on demand, and I'm happy to speak to my experience here today.
Really appreciate that. So essentially the goal of these AMAs, everyone, is an AMA Ask Me Anything with our guest, Ryan. We've been through it. We've been in the trenches for years. Ryan for, was that 7 years, me for the last 3 years. So what you guys are going through right now, we've probably experienced it and we've probably gotten over that hurdle. And the goal here is to help you guys get over those hurdles, any questions that you have, where once per week, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. PST, myself and or a guest will be here to try to help you guys get through those sticking points. And again, just offer value wherever we can. So again, if you guys have any questions, we can go ahead and just drop those in the chat right now. We will try to answer them in the order that they come in. The chat does move pretty fast on our end. So if we end up accidentally missing your question, feel free to just repaste it into the chat. And if we end up missing any ones towards the end, please feel free to drop those in the comments below, as this will be a replay on the channel afterwards. So yes, guys, we'll go ahead and we'll let those come in, and I'll go ahead and I'll take the first question.
See somebody home of the Chiefs. And as the resident NFL mega fan, I heard it's going to be 0 degrees this weekend for the Chiefs game. So that is definitely to the benefit of the Chiefs, because I'm pretty sure Miami is visiting Kansas City, and it is not 0 degrees ever in Miami.
Love it. All right, so I'm waiting for some questions to come in. So I guess we'll kind of start, I guess, a topic while we wait for you guys to come up with some questions. So perfect. So first question, does HelloCustom work with Shopify? So Shopify is going to be our next integration. Amazon was going to be our next integration with HelloCustom, but we determined that a lot of people right now are selling on Shopify, and a lot of people right now are not selling on Amazon, so we can serve more people with a Shopify integration. That one will take a little bit longer to build out, because it's not going to be just an integration. We have to actually build a Shopify app, where that's going to be an on product page editor, where they can edit the graphic on the page the shopper would, and then they could publish it over to Printify. So that one should hopefully go live here pretty soon. There's been a lot of demand with Joe, if you guys are familiar with POD Ninja, his audience, and then also Eric over at Shine On. A lot of his users are very excited to use HelloCustom for Shopify once that integration is live.
You had a question about glyph fonts, I think. Is that the question, Karen?
Let's see. Steven, I'm using glyph fonts for both sides of the name of my design. Does HelloCustom recognize the glyphs, and can it add it? So currently, HelloCustom does not support glyphs, and so a glyph is essentially where it might say Samantha, but on the S and then the A, there's the nice little tail end. So HelloCustom doesn't currently automatically do that. If you have those characters you in a different editor, where you can copy the S, you can paste it into our editor, copy the A, paste it into their editor, very similar to how you do it in Canva manually. So that is, we would be able to personalize automatically the Samantha, but you'd have to manually add the S and the A, if that makes sense. Something that is highly requested, something that is on the roadmap, but I don't have a timeline of when that might be live, as I don't know the scope of what it would take to be able to automate that, if that makes sense.
So we had a question about the hottest products of Q1. And one of those that popped into my mind that, I was doing some research on was print on demand candles. I think has some potential as we head into the month of February. I think it's kind of, they hold the potential to be maybe a romantic gift for Valentine's Day, but also if you go looking for print on demand candles, you honestly find so many absolutely hilarious niches that you can put on the candles, and definitely some personalization opportunities there as well.
Completely agree. Candles is actually, so I do a lot of product tutorials on my YouTube channel. Like we did one with phone cases and mugs and canvases and things like that. And candles is actually a product that made the list. I have a list of 10 products over here on the side of products that are doing well on Etsy, that are perfect for personalization, that are profitable with Printify's costs. And candles was one that made the list. And candles is one for like Valentine's Day, for example, would be a great product to sell. A couple of the other products that are on the list, just for anyone who's curious. So ornaments, which we've already done one, phone cases, mugs, we've already done those. I'm going to do one for wine tumblers. This Friday, we're going to do a product tutorial for wine tumblers. Wine tumblers only works if you do the $17.49 pricing with a $6.99 shipping. If you charge like $19.99 for the price, it actually is not profitable if they buy two because of the shipping cost. But if you do the $17.49 pricing, where if they buy two, it's $34.98. So they don't quite get the free shipping unless they buy three. So wine tumblers works great there. Jesse, a good friend of mine and Ryan's, Jesse, he's actually going to be sharing his number one. Jesse, I think, sold $400,000 with wine tumblers, and he's going to be allowing me to reveal his number one design that I think made $40,000. So that's going to be a really good product to look forward to. Canvases, which we did last week, blankets, baby blankets, candles, journals, and then obviously apparel like sweatshirts and things like that. So those are 10 products that are doing well right now on Etsy, profitable with Printify, that is also perfect for personalization.
Yeah, I love
So,
that idea. That's awesome
so
that
quick,
Jesse's letting you do that.
yeah, exactly. So Jesse's very similar to me in regards to quick update. If you didn't watch the last video, is we actually ended up closing down our Etsy shop so we can go full focus on HelloCustom, and that allows us to be more open with like our designs and our products and our strategies that much more because there's no conflict in interest. Like I'm not an Etsy seller. I'm fully dedicated to HelloCustom, and Jesse with Inner Circle Prints did the same thing. He closed down his Etsy shops that he made $10 million over the last 5 years. So that way he can be full focus on Inner Circle Prints. So he's happy to share some of the designs that he used, some of the products that he used to get him to those numbers. One of the questions really quick is, do you sell ornaments now? They sold a lot during Q4, but are they selling for you now? So I sold ornaments for 2 seasons, so for 2 years. Obviously, you're gonna get like 99% of your sales during the Christmas rush. I always left the ornaments on off season. That way you don't lose the rank for those products, for those search terms off season. And we actually would sell about 5 a day off season. The only ornaments that would sell off season were the baptism ornaments and the godparent proposal ornaments. So if you are wanting to leave them on, if you do have those designs, just expect those are the ones that might sell, depending on your scale. Maybe one or a couple a day.
So we had Mark say that because of HelloCustom was able to basically get a bestseller. It sounds like pretty early on in his launch. And then he asked your thoughts on foregoing the Etsy $35 free shipping guarantee. I mean, I personally have always opted into it because the very first time I ever saw that on my shop, it literally said like in small print underneath, it was like, this will help improve your organic rank. Now I'm always like, put my web developer hat on and I'm like, is that true though? Are they actually benefiting my organic rank by checking this box? I don't know. I can't prove it, but since then I've always opted in. What are your thoughts, Stephen?
Yeah, so it was the same thing. Like we signed up for Etsy 3 years ago. It was the same thing. You saw that, you read that, you click the box, and you just never think about it ever again. So that was one thing that I'm the kind of guy that likes to lift up the hood and kind of A/B test anything and everything to see like, is that true? That was actually one thing that we didn't test. We just left it on for the lifetime of the business, and we were just more reactionary in regards to like how can we play that to our benefit. And that's why 1749 was always like our magic number for a lot of our products, because again, if they buy one at 1749. If they buy two, it's $34.98. If they buy three to get the free shipping, and the cost of that third product will pay for the shipping. So essentially, like three is the same profit as two, but it's all print on demand product, so it doesn't really make a difference. I think Cassie Johnson made a video months ago where she tried to find shops that didn't have it and were they successful. And she did find a lot of very successful shops who did not have that turned on. So there's probably arguments on both sides of the free shipping guarantee. So what POD products do you think will be hot in the first quarter of 2024? So again, the products that I mentioned, the 10 that I just mentioned, I think are just like evergreen products that are going to do really well, just independent of the season, independent of the fact that it's 2024 now. I do think what's coming up obviously is Valentine's Day. So like those are going to do really, really well is designs, niches. It's all about relevancy. So like the designs, like Christmas designs are going to sell well during Christmas. Halloween designs are going to sell well during Halloween. Valentine's designs are going to sell well during Valentine's Day. So it's all about relevancy. Like, where are we going next? What holiday or event or awareness is coming up next? And if you have designs for that, when people search for it, you have a listing for it. So just like saying like what's coming up next in terms of not Q1, but maybe like the beginning of Q2, the non-Christmas rush holidays that do the best for anyone and everyone I've ever talked to is obviously Mother's Day. Mother's Day is like the second Christmas of the year, where everyone explodes during Mother's Day. But right before Mother's Day is teacher appreciation and nurse appreciation. And I've talked to so many people who launched right before teacher appreciation, launched teacher appreciation designs. They're like, dude, I made $30,000 in my first month. And it was all from this one teacher appreciation tumbler or this one teacher appreciation t-shirt. So in terms of ones to just guarantee, like here in a couple months, like make sure you have nurse appreciation designs, teacher appreciation designs, then go into the Mother's Day, have obviously mom designs, have that huge spike in sales, and then you can piggyback off of that with your more evergreen designs. So I'm going to harp on that one a lot.
Yeah, it's nice. Like we get a little bit, it almost feels like a little bit of calm before the storm in January, even though January is basically when you're just prepping for, February, March, etc. Then it just picks right back up. The sales pick right back up. If you guys are having a lull in your sales right now, I think that's pretty common for a number of reasons. People got their Christmas shopping done, etc. It's return season. You know what I mean? At least for the first half of January, I would say. But it picks back up. I'm always thinking of like things on a 12-month cycle, anyways. So I never get too down on anything that doesn't work right away. You know what I mean? I give it a year. So.
Yeah, completely agree. So two questions in regards to HelloCustom. One was saying that they're kind of bummed that Shopify is coming before Amazon because they wanted Amazon next. The Amazon integration is significantly easier than the Shopify integration because it's just an integration versus like a whole new UI for the Shopify. So we might actually get the Amazon one done first. It's just with that, there's just a lot of people who are not currently selling on Amazon. But before I started selling on Etsy, I used to sell on Amazon at an Amazon marketing agency. So if there is a lot of people wanting to make that transition, which in my opinion, I think Amazon is going to be the next Etsy in terms of opportunity for selling personalized on-demand products, because on Etsy, no joke, like in the last like 12 to 18 months, like 5 million people have created Printify accounts and millions of people have created Etsy accounts. So therefore, like there's been like in the last year, millions plural of people have created Etsy print on demand businesses where we're all have access to the same apparel for the same price and we're all doing very similar designs so like the competition is skyrocketing. The buyer base is organic. So there's this increase in delta between supply and demand. So it's a little bit harder to be successful on Etsy today. But again, that's why I harp on personalization, because 99% of people are not doing personalization on Etsy. That's how you can stand above the competition. But there's very little people selling print products on Amazon beyond Amazon merch. So selling personalized print products on a marketplace that's just as relevant, just as big as Etsy, will do very, very well. Again, going back to Jesse, he sold $10 million in print products, 6 million on Etsy, 4 million on Amazon, almost 50-50, 100% personalized. So again, I think over 2024, there will be some shift in opportunity over to Amazon. Just kind of, that's my forethought. And Printify will be coming out with an Amazon integration here soon. So I do have connections with the people who are building this integration. We are going to try to align our launch together. So in regards to like, will this work with Printify? They will have an Amazon integration here pretty soon.
That's awesome, man. That's news to me. I've been selling, I just call it like Amazon FBM POD, like fulfilled by merchant instead of fulfilled by Amazon FBA that most people are familiar with, since 2017. And I had such a tough time figuring out like how to make that work initially, because as you would imagine, back in 2017, the resources were a little bit more limited than they are today. But eventually figured it out. And yeah, like Amazon, if you go to similarweb.com, which is a nice website for estimating web traffic, they have Amazon at about like, is it 10x bigger? I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think Amazon was like 4 billion hit monthly visitors, while Etsy was like 400 million, which is nothing to scoff at. But just saying, like Amazon's got potential. I can speak to that firsthand. So that's exciting.
Yeah, 100%. I think it will only work for us on print products. Again, I'm not saying this just for HelloCustom. I believe in personalization 100%, but I think it only works with personalized products because people go to Amazon for FBA, fulfilled by Amazon 2-day delivered, right? So it's like if you can buy a mug that says world's best mom and it's going to get you in 2 days, but there's another mug that says like world's best mom that has its children's name on it. It's like that has more value. It's more meaningful. It's more emotional, but it's not FBA. It's FBN, means fulfilled by merchant. It's going to take a few days for processing, 4 days for shipping. It might get to you by the end of next week. That will still sell because they want the personalization and they don't care that's going to get to them 7 days later. So you're not competing on the FBA versus FBM and 2 days versus 7 days and things like that because you have that higher perceived value and they're buying it not for the time, but because of the personalization. So that's why I'm really excited to get HelloCustom integrated with Amazon because Amazon is very similar to Etsy in regards to like you don't have control over what the product page looks like. It's the same thing as like a text box. And then HelloCustom will be able to read that text, personalize a graphic, fulfill the product, and it's still automated for another third-party marketplace.
Yeah, and real quick too, I just learned last week as somebody who shops on eBay, I didn't even know this, but eBay adds they added support for personalization the same way Etsy does. It's just kind of hidden. It's like in there, if you edit a listing, go to advanced and click show more. They literally just did the exact same thing that Etsy does, where you turn it on, you give them instructions, and that's basically it. So
I love that. Whenever I talk to Printify, they always harp on eBay. They say like we love eBay so much, we think that that's gonna be the next opportunity. In terms of like the things that they're building, the support that they have. The downside is you're selling to like a 70-year-old man in his garage, right? It's like the type of customers that they have and the type of things we're trying to sell. There's a disconnect there. So like they would love eBay, but I think the customer base is a little different, or depending on the type of designs that you're selling. Someone asked, when do I plan on integrating with other print providers beyond Printify, like T-Launch, Printed Mint, etc. So again, we spent all of 2023 just building HelloCustom. We've added tons of new features. We're out of MVP. If you first signed up for HelloCustom when we were first live, there were some bugs, there were some glitches, and I thank you guys so much for being patient with us. We've really solidified our system. We've made tons of improvements to the AI, tons of improvements to the PDF editable template feature, tons of improvements to just all of it essentially. We're also adding image recognition logic here in the next week, so you guys will be able to do multi-graphic products. So like again, like the personalized sleeve that's doing really well. Right now you can't do that because there's a graphic on the chest and a graphic on the sleeve. The system wasn't smart enough to know which graphic to replace. It will be in about 1 week out. So you guys will be able to do multi-graphic personalized stuff. So we're just making the product super solid. Once we feel like we have a solid product, it'll be very easy for us to create integrations. Integrations only take about 3 weeks of build out. So I'm hoping to just start like launching integrations like super fast because it's my goal is I want to be able to serve you guys where you are at and not force you to have to go to a different print provider to use our solution. So that will be, you will see a lot of marketplaces and print providers coming soon. That is kind of our next big push.
nice. Yeah, man. Seems like there's some interest in HelloCustom and Shopify support though. That's gonna be big whenever it does happen. So I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, again, personalization is like, I don't know if you guys are familiar. Everyone who's talking about Shopify, like you guys probably know Joe from YouTube. He's the only YouTuber in our connection group that actually talks about Shopify. He a whole like he always does like challenges, like a 5-day challenge. Like one day out of his 5-day challenge is all about personalization. The whole module in his course is about personalization. He has this whole mini course on personalization. So he completely agrees. Even on Shopify, it's like again personalization independent of Shopify, Amazon, Etsy. Is like it is what is working. So again, like when we go live with Shopify, he's gonna create a lot of content to help you guys with the Shopify side. As I have experience on the personalization side, but I don't have experience on the Shopify to be able to help you guys as a seller. But Joe will be able to step up and help you guys with that.
Yeah, and Kenya had asked about if a order will work if they purchase through the Shopify store if it's linked to Etsy. I think it would be the other way around, right? You can go Etsy to Shopify. But that's interesting actually. If the order came through Etsy, it wouldn't be a Shopify order, right? Shopify would just kind of read it in and it would sit in that database. But I mean, if HelloCustom's involved in any way, it would still detect the order because it would see the SKU and step in and do what it does.
Exactly. So there's been some questions in regards to like if you can like order route from like you can sell the product on Shopify, but then force it through Etsy, and then it can get pulled in from Etsy to HelloCustom. So we can only right now pull orders from Etsy. So I don't know exactly how that would work and if that would be the same workflow for our system to be able to recognize it. There's no one that I know of right now that is doing that, so it probably doesn't work because there's probably been people who've tried it. But again, right now our only integration on the marketplace side is Etsy. But again, we will have a Shopify integration here pretty soon. So again, I appreciate your guys' patience there. Let me see what the next question was. What would be the display price for a t-shirt, sweatshirt, and hoodie? When people makes a small price very, very low. So I'm a huge believer in display prices. I know some people say it's a bait and switch and it's gray hat and things like that, but it's something that like 80% of the sellers are doing right now. And if you're not doing it, you're actually kind of like hurting yourself. It's becoming normalized. And again, so essentially what a display price is Etsy displays your cheapest SKU, your cheapest variant at the click-through level. So when someone searches mom shirt and you get all the results, the price that they show at that level is the cheapest variant. So what you can do is you can take your least selling SKU, for example, extra small pink, that probably sells 0.5% of your sales because maybe like a small white or a small black might be like your number one selling product. So you take your least selling variant and you make that one your break-even price or your loss indicator, maybe a little bit of a loss, like $9.99, even though it costs $9.99 to buy the product from Printify, to be able to have someone, when they see that, your price looks super affordable, they click into it, now they're invested. I love this design. They're adding their personalization. They click onto the size, like, oh, actually a medium is $17.49. They're already this far down the funnel. It'd be more painful for them to leave to go find another product and experience the same thing. And most of the time they just, okay, $17.49, buy it, and then finish out the checkout. So if you have a listing that has t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies, again, it's the cheapest variant, not on every single one. I would just make the extra small shirt the cheapest one, and then full price on all sweatshirts and full price on all hoodies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think it's worth doing personally. For them to have a chance to click the add to cart button, and that's required before they check out and you get paid and all that. They need to click on you and not your competitors in search results. So you kind of have to play the game. I mean, Etsy could change they could change how all that worked instantly if they wanted to, but they leave it as is. So
yeah, like essentially the very first step is getting that click. Everything else is a derivative of that. So it's like you need to get the click, then you need to get the conversion, then they need to then they go to shipping, then they need to confirm. So it's like everything comes after that click. So you got to get that click first and then worry about everything else second. And to get that click, there's only a few things you have control over. You have control over your main image, the first like 4 or 5 words of the title, is there a sale, yes or no, star seller badge, and price. So it's like, there's only 5 things you can control. So it's like, you might as well try to make that price as enticing as possible. Your main image as, pattern interrupt as possible to get them to stop scrolling, see the price. That's good. Click, and then everything else can follow. But you have to get that click first.
yeah,
On that strategy really quick before I lose this question, sorry, Ryan,
good.
is someone was asking about, what is your opinion about everyday sales? Is it okay to have your listings on sale every single day? So that is another thing, is like it displays a sale. So one strategy that I do, and I also believe in, is doing daily flash sales. So on the phone app every single night before I went to bed, and you can also schedule these out, is I would say there's going to be a sale tomorrow that also ends tomorrow for all products, 50% off. That way, when someone sees the listing at the click-through level, they see that there's a sale. And then when they go onto the listing, it says sale ends in 17 hours. So then there's some urgency there. Like, hey, this sale's going to end before I go to sleep tonight. I got to buy it now. But they don't know that you're just going to renew it every single day. So that's something that I did since day one. It was a strategy that Jesse actually taught me that he was doing years before me. So he did that strategy every single night before bed for 5 years. I did it every single night for 3 years. And I owe a lot of our success actually to that, and our conversion rate to that, because at least once a day, someone would ask us like, I get paid tomorrow. Can you please honor the sale for tomorrow? And then we would obviously tell them yes. But it's like, if people are asking, that means there is an impact and they are seeing that, and it is influencing their decision to buy.
Yeah, and for what it's worth too, just to piggyback, like if you are really hungry for a sale, I think it helps with niche shops specifically. You can message your previous buyers, maybe wait like a week after they receive the product and then say, hey, thank you so much for your order. Hope you're happy with it. By the way, as a token of our appreciation, we wanted to offer you a X% off coupon where X is equal to the sale that you always run. And that person, when you send them the link with the coupon, it automatically applies to your whole shop. The buyer likely will not remember that your shop is usually running a sale equal to that percentage off anyways. And now you've brought them back to your shop, and that again is at the top of the logic tree in order for you to make the next sale, right? Go to your shop, then click a listing, then add to cart and all that good stuff. So you restart the cycle again.
That makes total sense. So the next question was, thinking about niching into store number 2 with a niche that did very well with the first store. If hypothetically store number 1 was to be shut down, will Etsy shut down both stores? I want to use HelloCustom exclusively in shop number 2. There's a very high chance, yes. So Etsy is able to detect connections between different stores, whether it is the same IP address, the same computer, the same maybe if you have the same bank connected or the same social security or address, like if there's connections between multiple accounts, if one shop got shut down, it's very highly probable that the next one will get shut down. If the first one got shut down and you did nothing wrong, let's say like you didn't do trademark infringement and it was just like they just shut you down for which happens a lot for no reason. 100% of the time you will get the shop back. There's been no times I've ever heard people like I did nothing wrong and I never got the shop back. But it just takes time. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks for them to get back to your customer support, or sometimes it takes 2 weeks and then 2 weeks. You'll get it back eventually. The downside to that when you have 2 shops is, and this happened to me when we launched the shop for HelloCustom, was we had 2 shops and one just got shut down for no reason. And then I fought through this one back. And then as soon as I got this one back, this one got shut down because it got connected. And it was going back and forth for like 2 months. And then they finally got them both back at the same time. So this is just a pain point for almost every Etsy seller right now, launching new Etsy shops, getting shut down for no reason. Again, just make an appeal, be patient, and then you should get it back, assuming you did nothing wrong.
All right, Steven, someone asked about customizable like air fresheners. And even if you don't know where you can find those, I'm just curious, like, have you seen any weird new print on demand products like this year? Someone sent me today a DM and they made a company that sells customizable keyboard caps, which is so out there. But at the same time, as a gamer and someone who like loves computers, I love it. I love the idea. You know what I mean? And they're doing it as like a print on demand offering that like sellers like us would benefit from. So have you seen anything cool like that? Like any weird out there products?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer, and I only replicate what's already successful in regards to like I'm not personally invested into any of the products ever sold. Like, I don't care if it's a shower curtain or a toilet seat cover or whatever it is. Right? I don't like, even if I don't have a dog, sell a dog collar or things like that. So essentially, like if I was able to say, hey, there's 5 or 10 Etsy shops right now that are killing it with personalized air fresheners, and they're all making $100,000 revenue collectively with all their air freshener designs, I would jump into that niche. But if it's like, hey, this sounds like a really cool idea, but there's no one selling the product on Etsy and there's no one being successful on Etsy, I wouldn't jump into that niche. So essentially, I have to be, in my mind, to be able to jump into a product category, I have to be able to find 5 to 10 other shops that are currently selling it, that launched in the last 1 to 3 years, so they're semi-new. They're able to kind of carve their spot into the market to validate that for me. So I'm more of the boring guy. So I'm not like the air fresheners or like the keyboard caps. I'm more of like it can be a canvas or a mug or like these more like just evergreen products that everyone's doing, but there's the demand for them, and they will do very well if you're doing everything else correct.
What do you think? Is it too late to list for Valentine's Day? I mean, it's probably getting to the point where, you want to get your products up ASAP if you're not already positioned. It definitely, it's not helping to wait. You know what I mean? It's to your benefit to get it done ASAP for a number of reasons. You know what I mean? Helping straight, like the initial most obvious one is helping the Etsy algorithm like understand what it is that you're selling, which, sales from customers really help lock that in and solidify like what keywords and phrases to associate your listing with. Also, search engines like Google, they see your listing, but that's not an instantaneous thing. And you get indexed by Google, and you can, drive traffic to your Etsy listing from Google as a result of that. So little things like that.
Yeah, so for me personally, again, it's never too late to launch a product for a niche because again, you will get some rank and some sales, and it's built for next year. So there's always that benefit. I always try to the best of my ability try to launch all of the designs for an event 8 weeks before the event, because it takes Etsy about a week to like index you and start showing your ads and knowing where to place you for certain search terms. So it takes about a week for that before your ads even start showing. Then I do my launch strategy where I drop it to my break-even price, turn on Etsy ads to try to drive rank. That takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Now we're like 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, a month, and then you have 1 month of sales, if that makes sense. And you just like that's when you get like a ton of sales for a month, capture it on that event or that holiday, and then you get all that rank that just stays there because you don't turn off the listing for the next time it comes back around, if that makes sense. Speaking on Etsy ads, someone asked, do you feel that Etsy ads are essential in getting sales? 100% yes. So I know that saying Etsy ads, that you need Etsy ads, it's almost taboo and it's super trendy to say like you can make all this money without Etsy ads. And some people do that. But I think we did like, we spent like over the 3 years, like $250,000 in Etsy ads, and that was profitable. Like you can, so it's like, again, my strategy, if you haven't watched it on our YouTube channel, is like we launch a product at our break-even price, because the cheaper something is, the more people will buy it. And again, the number one thing that determines rank is sales velocity. So if I can make it something my break-even price, I can turn on Etsy ads, it's displaying at the top of search, it gets tons of sales, driving my organic rank. Then when I'm on page one, I raise my price to my normal price, maintain the rank. Now I'm super profitable. Versus no Etsy ads, it's all organic. It's going to take forever to get ranked, forever to get sales, forever to get seen. Versus just like, hey, let's just drive rank for 2 weeks, and then by week 3 we're making significantly more money. On that strategy too, is we do our break-even price, but we mark up the shipping. So like a shirt might cost $4.99 for shipping, but I charge $6.99. So I'm actually making a $2 profit on the back end, and that $2 will cover the ad spend. So it's almost like you're rolling the cash itself. So it's like you're driving rank and you're just rolling it into cash for free for 2 weeks. Week 3, you're profitable. I've done that for hundreds and hundreds of products. And again, we've sold 220,000 products on Etsy. We made $3 million over 3 years. And I did that every single time without fail. So from my experience, Etsy ads was crucial in our strategy.
Yeah, and one note on ads that I feel like many people that have not used ads, whether on Etsy or another platform, may think, you know what I mean, prior to using them, is that you have to pony up that money. You know, like Steven mentions, really high ad spend, you know, aggregate over his lifetime. And you might be thinking like, well, I don't have that much in the bank to spend, but visualize it in your head as like your ad spend is a function of your profit margin, right? Because if an ad drives a sale, then you're really spending the profit on the ad. So if you generate 100K in sales from running ads and you have a 30% profit margin, you can spend up to 30K on ads and still break even, and then be in really good shape for your organic rank, because now all of these products, and by the way, like not every sale you make is going to be from ads. You're going to be in parallel, most likely generating more organic sales than advertised sales. And yeah, like I agree with Steven. That's the most realistic path forward to really be successful. I mean, otherwise you're kind of hoping to get lucky in some niche that, you know, people don't know about, so you have no competition, but that's not realistic, you know?
Yeah. So again, what Ryan just said is super important. So I just want to kind of re-emphasize what he just said, because what he said validates to not, ads are not scary. Again, Etsy ads are PPC, pay per click. You're only paying if someone clicks into your listing, which you want them to do because they have to click to buy, right? So if you've done everything else right, that's one click that gets you closer to a sale to make more money than the 50 cents you spent for the click. And again, so I almost think of Etsy ads as like an ATM. Like I put $1 in and I get $2 back. And if you're doing everything else right, where you're doing, again, you're showing up for the right search terms, you have a good product, a good design, a good price point, it almost becomes to a point where it's like Etsy's not taking enough of my money because I'm making more money the more I give. Again, so it's like it's PPC, pay per click. You're only paying if you get clicks, and you want as many clicks as possible, because that's the first step to get a sale. So again, I believe in Etsy ads 100%. I had another question, but I think I lost it.
I saw a question on like what to do to protect your shop in case like your shop gets closed down. For what it's worth, like I think at least like once a month, or you know what I mean, some regular interval, you can go into your shop manager, go to settings, options, and then download data. It's literally like go to shop manager, click settings, click options, click download data. You can export all of your stuff in a spreadsheet basically, and then you can like import that into various places. I mean, a lot of marketplaces do have import features. Some are direct import. Like there's a B2B marketplace that's more or less for wholesale that like my girlfriend or my fiance, like she literally exported her Etsy shop, loaded it up, and they take it directly in the Etsy format. So super simple. The marketplace called Fair. And it's a little bit more nuanced than what I just said, but like literally loaded up the CSV and they imported her listings. And then she's making like extra orders just like that, you know, selling to actual businesses. And that's also great for niche shops as well. You know what I mean? She's a niche shop. But yeah, like Amazon, you can bulk import your products, a lot of places. So that's a good idea. And hopefully that answered the question. You could also load it into Shopify, etc.
Gotcha. Was that question based on was minimizing risk? Sorry, I was reading another question.
I think that was asked in the context of minimizing risk. Hopefully my answer was good enough because they do have like a literally like a tab. And if you go to that tab, you can export the whole shop in one click. So pretty easy to do.
That makes sense. So out of everyone that I know who's ever had a shop shut down because they accidentally infringed on another search term or trademark or anything like that, it's almost always apparel because like you can put anything and everything, and they're all most of the designs that do well for apparel are like just sayings like boy like boy mom, and it's like hey someone trademarked boy mom, it's like, and now that my shop shut down, so I've never heard, again, this is me, and I know a ton of Etsy sellers, but like I've never heard anyone's like, oh, my shop got shut down because of a mug I had or an ornament or things like that. Because a lot of the designs that do really well for non-apparel, they're actually easier to make. And it's like, so like, for example, when I sold mugs and we made like $100,000 revenue selling mugs, all of my designs was legit like a clip art and a name. That's all it was a clip art and a name. Like how easy is that in terms of designing a product? How easy is that in terms of like speed to launching a listing? For the ornaments is again, it's a clip art and maybe like a text above it says like, first Christmas name, and it's like 2023. So it's like a clip art with a couple text elements. There's no trademark infringements on these other products when the designs are so simple and you're not doing sayings, you're just doing clip art plus personalization. So that is one way to minimize risk is like, and Printify said this too, is like they're trying to be super proactive to have less people doing apparel because everyone's doing apparel and it's getting super saturated. So it's like that's why there is a lot of opportunities with these other products, and that is one way to minimize your risk.
And
One
quick
question
tip.
was,
Can I do a
yeah,
quick tip?
yep.
Super quick, super quick. Like go to Google Trends and just type in the different product types. And Google Trends won't give you the absolute search volume, but they will give you on a relative basis what is being searched for. So if you don't know where to start with alternative products, you can literally make an informed decision using real data by just typing it into google.com/trends. That's simple.
Love it. That's a great tip. Next question is, I'm thinking of doing a personalized store. Which is better, a general one or do I pick one niche? So again, like this, I mentioned this last week, is it depends on who you ask, because some people have had a success with just a single niche. Like if you're doing brand creators and you're listening to Scott Volker from Cody with Everbee's channel, he says niche down. You need to be one niche. And I'm the complete opposite, where I'm just like, I believe in having as many niches on as many products in one store as possible because of the way of how Etsy works in regards to like people go to Etsy, they type in, gift for mom. And if you don't have a product for that search term or that niche, you're not being shown. If you're only in pet, or if someone says like, gift for grandma or anniversary gift and all these other search terms, and you're only showing up for this one search category of like pet gift for pet or dog mom, you're selling yourself short on all of this and all of that. And you're almost like, shoot yourself in the foot. Same thing with products is sometimes people would prefer a shirt over a sweatshirt, over a mug, over a wine tumbler. So again, just like the more you have, again, the niches and designs done right, not just like, throwing it out there for throwing out their sake. But if you do the right product research, the right market research, you're not limiting yourself to one niche or one product per store. Again, my shop had multiple products, multiple niches, and we were a top Etsy seller in the world. So that's from my experience. I believe not limiting yourself. And same thing with Jesse. Again, $10 million over 5 years, both Etsy and Amazon. He did not niche down to a single niche shop.
Yeah, that would be impressive. If you hit that number with one niche, that would be quite impressive.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be able to hit six figures potentially, but you'll never have a seven-figure Etsy shop, I think, with being niche down.
Any thought on partnership with T-Launch for some of their products like personalized metal signs?
Yeah, so and we saw them do a lot of research in regards to like which print providers in what order are we going to integrate with. So there's been a lot of interest in Printful. I think Printful will be the next one. There's been a lot of interest in Shine On. Shine On might be a really good one. There's obviously naturally a lot of interest for Inner Circle Prints with Jesse. All of his users are just waiting for us to finally finish that integration. So those will probably be the next three. And then after that, I just really need to dive in and say, what is the product market fit? What is the demand for all of these other ones that like you're saying, T-Launch and Gelato and all these other ones in terms of what order those will come next.
What are your thoughts on videos for Etsy? Do you think it's super important? Like a must, you know what I mean, to have?
It's that one's tough to say. I think if a video is done right, it can help you because again, this we are everything they are on their phones or on their laptops where they're not able to actually grab the mug and feel the mug and you see the mug and the size and proportions outside of like how you display it. So you have to do a really good job displaying the product, being that they can't feel and touch it and hold it. And you can do that with images, but you can do it you have more flexibility to do that with the video. But if you're just buying a stock video and you're just like you're slapping your thing on it and it's just like a video of just like panning over, I don't know if that'd be worth the money spent for the video, the money spent and the time to make it, being that there wasn't much value add to it. But if you created a video that would like really kind of like just show the features or the benefits or things like that of the product, being very proactive, I think that would help. But in terms of like, if that isn't the skill set or that isn't the goal, then I would just say, I, I think only one of our product categories ever had a video, and we were mostly just like kind of highlighting our reviews. It was like the product and 5 stars. And we were just kind of displaying some reviews for social proof. So that's another thing you can use videos for is like again social proof. And I didn't see some uptick in conversion or some uptick in sales. So I don't know if I can't say one way or another.
Yeah, something like a mug though. I like the idea of like invoking kind of thoughts that people are big fans of, like a coffee mug. Like if what if you're like the video starts playing, you've got your design on a mug, but like coffee's actively being poured in. I've seen some video mock-ups like that were done really well. And it kind of invokes that like warmth of a nice first sip of coffee in the morning. And I don't know, that might help you like people like put them in a better mood to want to click and buy your mug. So I don't know. That's just thinking, if it's a t-shirt, you might not be able to do the same, but
Exactly, exactly. So it's like you're almost showing them in action of using the product. I think there's some value to that as well. The next question is, but what if I'm selling that? So this is going back. I think the same person asked the question in regards to the display price. If there's a shirt, a sweatshirt, and a hoodie on the one listing, for the display price, I would just choose the cheapest one SKU, which would be the shirt. But then he asked, what if I'm selling them separately? Same thing. If you're selling them on 3 different listings, again, the cheapest, what you would think the least popular variant, maybe extra small pink for the shirts, and then maybe the extra small pink for the sweatshirts and the extra small pink for the hoodies or whatever. Or if you have sales history, you just go into your sales and like, hey, this is our least selling variant, make that one the display price. I think you've had a follow-up question where it's not possible to sell them underneath the same listing. You can, you just have to SKU link them all. So you have to create the 3 products on Printify, and you have to create the one listing on Etsy, and then you have to create the variations for like the size and like, shirt, tank top, sweatshirt, all those different variations, and you have to SKU link them all, which takes a lifetime to do because if you're doing 6 sizes, 6 colors, and 3 products, that's 6 times 10. You got hundreds of SKUs to SKU link for one listing. So there's not really a really good solution for that right now. So I would maybe just keep them separate.
yeah. Do you remember the Christmas? I mean, there were a couple Christmas listings, but like there was one that I always kept coming across when I was looking at bestsellers that had like 60 designs in one listing. Although the way they did it, actually, never mind. They didn't SKU link them. I swear I saw at least one listing that was SKU linking, but I just remembered the one listing that did 60 designs in one just enabled personalization and numbered each design and then had you type in the number. Pretty smart.
That works too. One thing a lot of people do too is they will, and again, this creates more work for you, is not every listing that you create and every design that you create will sell. It's just, it is what it is. There will be some that just are duds. So what some people do is they will put all of them onto one listing and they just don't SKU link it. And then when it finally gets its first sale, they'll just manually create that order instead of Printify and like, hey, it got its first sale. There is life. Now I will go SKU link it. So that way you can just create the listings unskew linked. And then when it gets a sale, it justifies that there's potential to then justify maybe the 20 minutes it's going to take to go SKU link that listing out instead of doing it every single time when half of them might not ever get that first sale.
Yes. Yes. I agree with that. And also like if you were to export your Etsy shop, import it to Amazon and you know what I mean? Load up like however many thousands of listings, they won't be linked by whoever's fulfilling your orders. But like Steven just said, you can wait till they generate an order, then establish the SKU link. And that way you're not just like creating some massive headache for yourself.
Exactly. That only works if it's a like if you're not using HelloCustom, you can do that. But if you are using HelloCustom, that doesn't work with HelloCustom because we need that SKU to tie those SKUs to that template to then tie that to the product to create the product. So there are some users that like that's been doing that for like the last year and they're trying to sign up for HelloCustom and I'm like, we need those listings to have SKUs to use HelloCustom. So now they're like trying to backlog everything. So it could shoot yourself in the foot if it is for a personalized product. So the next question is, they're going to my design variations, where I like to have multiple products, multiple designs on one listing. That way they can shop the listing instead of the shop, helping our conversion rate. When you make a listing that has, say, 6 variations, would you make 6 different listings for each variation? Would you reuse the titles, the tags over the 6, or let's say across 20 plus items for ornaments? So that's what I did. So essentially the strategy that I do there is I would create 6 different for the same niche. For example, if I'm launching a teacher mug, I'd create 4 different design variations for teacher mugs. And then I would sell all 4 of those design variations on all 4 listings as variation A, B, C, or D. That way the user would click into one design, like, hey, they have multiple mugs to choose from. I like actually C. So that way they're shopping the listing instead of clicking on, the shop name, finding C, clicking on C, then buying C. And it was like 2 clicks for the one sell versus 1 click for the one sell. So what I did is I would create the listing once. I would duplicate it 3 more times, so there's 4, and I would actually reuse the titles. I would reuse the descriptions and the tags. I wouldn't change them for each one because I spent the time to do the research for like the title. I spent the time to do the research for the tags. And if I'm trying to make them different for 4, number 2 is going to be less optimized than 1, and number 3 is going to be less optimized than 2, and number 4 is going to be less optimized than 3. And again, you don't know which design is going to take off. It might be C, it might be D, when that's the least optimized listing because you kept trying to change it 4 different times. So I would always just reuse that, knowing that only one is going to take off. And yes, they are competing against each other, but you only need one to rank because they can buy all 4 in that one.
So will they be able to add photos soon? Image level customization, I think, is the question.
Yeah, so we'd be able to add photos soon. So we did a video last week on how you can do personalized images. Images will not be automated with HelloCustom. Text like name, dates, address, phone numbers will be automated. The reason why that is the workflow is different. They type in the personalization request on the order, then they buy the product, and then after the order, they might email you the photo, or maybe like 6 hours later, they finally message you the photo. So there's just a huge disconnect in us trying to find where is it at, when's it coming in, to be able to grab that photo. Then also, what are you going to do with the photo? Sometimes there's mugs where it's just like the baby's head, like where you're going to remove the background and crop off the body. It's like, there's no way, there's an infinite number of things that need to be done with the graphic before it gets put onto the product that we can't just automate that. So it gets super complicated. So again, if you do image personalized products, we can automate the name, the address, phone numbers, but then you have to manually grab that photo from the customer and manually add it to the graphic before you click approve on the approval card.
Yeah, and guys, if you open up your if you open yourself up to custom images, be as explicit and obvious in your communication to the buyers as you possibly can, because you're gonna have to deal with some headaches. You know what I mean? It's definitely not optimal in the sense that, like, you know what I mean, offering text customization is gonna be a lot of a smoother transition with HelloCustom, and with just not having to require customers to send you photos that need to be high quality and of a certain size, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. So it was a perfect example for the product tutorial that we did last week. But again, I mentioned in that video, or maybe it was last week's AMA, it's like, I did it that way for that product, but I have actually have never sold an image personalized product because I'm always simpler is better always. So like I get 220,000 sales on Etsy. I would say 90% of our products are just name and date. And that's just text-based personalization. That's all it really takes to elevate a design. And again, my designs are super simple, like a clip art and a name text element. One question is, did you say that you cannot do sleeve personalizations on HelloCustom? So right now, as we speak, and previously, HelloCustom can only do single graphic products. And the reason why that is, so like, you can still do mugs where there's a graphic on both sides of the mug, but it's one graphic where you have the design uploaded twice, and then when it wraps around the mug, it works. And the reason why that is HelloCustom isn't smart enough yet to know which graphic to replace on the, let's say, shirt when there's multiple graphics on the shirt. It doesn't know like to replace this one and not this one. So therefore it gets confused and cannot make the product. So a really popular product right now, I think Cassie came out with the video and some other people as well, is the personalized sleeve. So they might be like, world's best mom, and then like the kids' names on the sleeve. So that's one graphic, 2 graphic. The system wasn't smart enough to know, do we replace this one or this one? And then therefore it cannot fulfill the order. we are about 1 week out from adding that logic to the system where it will be able to look at this image. We'll be able to look at this image, compare that to the image instead of HelloCustom. Which one is the correct one? Okay, let's replace the sleeve. So you will be able to do multi-graphic products through HelloCustom very, very soon. The code is done. It is on our development app for me to be testing. I'm just beating it over the head right now to make sure there's no bugs. And then once I give it the green light, we will be setting it live here very, very soon. Two more updates that will be going live tomorrow, smaller updates, is if HelloCustom misses the personalization, for example, and you have to click on the edit button to go into the editor, we're now displaying the personalization text side by side with the graphics. So we had that when we very first went live, and then we took it away, and it's been highly requested to add it back. That way you can see what they type next to the graphic to make the change, or to copy the text and then paste it, and then copy the text and paste it. So that should be going live tomorrow. And then the next one is if people have a 100% white graphic, it's very hard to approve those graphics because it's a white graphic on a white approval card. And they would have to go into the editor, change the background to see what it looks like, to then go back to the approval queue to delete those changes. So now we're adding the feature to where if you click on the thumbnail, it'll pop up where there'll be a toggle button, make dark or make light. And therefore you can see the white graphic against a dark background. So just 2 quick clicks to be able to see what a white graphic looks like. And those should be going live tomorrow. So we're just constantly trying to make improvements, make the system more user-friendly for you guys based on the feedback that you guys are giving us.
We had a question about like graphics on mugs and maybe not printing well. When you say ghosting, I mean, is that like print quality, or is it just that the font weight wasn't strong enough? I would just say, like, I've been selling print on demand mugs since 2017. That's what outside of Amazon merch, which still to this day doesn't offer mugs. I got my start with FBM mugs on Amazon before I sold POD on Etsy. I don't even think they had integrations live back then. I think that started in 2018, if I remember. But anyways, like, yeah, like the only complaints I ever had with mugs was like them getting broke in the mail. Of course, it's variable based on like who's fulfilling your mugs and like what mug type it is. Most of them are those Orca mugs. And in my experience, like it usually comes out printing really well, like white on black or black on white, etc.
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump on that same question really quick. So the process that you use to create an ornament is called sublimation. So it's like a poly coating on an ornament, and then you use sublimation, and then you press it on. And it's the same process for the mugs as that you sublimate it on. A lot of people had a lot of complaints during Q4 with the ornaments because the production partner for the ornaments, and the reason what I think happened was millions of ornaments got sold, and it was funneled through like 1 or 2 production partners, and they were just trying to throw those things out the door as fast as possible. And it takes about like 3 to 4 minutes of press time to get to do the ornament when you have a lot of ornaments on a sheet. So what I think they did for time's sake is like, hey, we should be pressing 15 ornaments for 4 minutes. Let's only press it for 3 minutes. Again, this is my theory, just so we can get 25% more out the door. Therefore, it's like less quality. So a lot of people had a lot of complaints with the ornaments with the quality. And again, sublimation is so simple that you can do it in your bedroom with a $100 printer and a $100 heat press. That like a production partner should be able to print ornaments crisp. It should be so good. And Mugs is a different production partner. Again, I just think it was the ornaments. I think it was the season. I think they were just rushed. But there should be no ghosting or fadingness on the products, especially for mugs during at least off Christmas season.
Yeah, I ordered some some of the glass ornaments custom for like my family with our little dogs on them, and dude, they came out so nice. They printed like flawlessly. So maybe try the glass ornaments maybe next year.
Yeah, those ones actually did pretty well too. So a lot of people jumped on ornaments, because every single YouTuber, all of us had our ornament tutorial video. So literally like tens of thousands of people watched ornaments, and we were all selling the same ornament. So there could be some value to like, hey, everyone's selling the white ceramic, which sells amazing, but maybe selling the glass version can just be one way to differentiate yourself. And also it's a different production partner. So on that note, guys, we're here for 5 more minutes. So drop in your last few questions. If we skipped your question, please drop it in the comment below. I want to be respectful of Ryan's time, respectful of your guys' time. And again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to spend your Wednesday afternoon with us, guys. And hopefully we delivered on our promise that we were able to answer your questions as honest and as truthfully and as most helpful as possible. The next question is, would you guys recommend combining both digital and physical items on one store, or create a separate shop? So I think if they are separate listings, I think it is okay. I remember one person asked trying to put them onto the same listing. That way it's a super cheap display price. I think that would create a lot of confusion where it's like, is this a, a Tumblr wrap or is this the Tumblr with the graphic onto it? Which one am I buying? I think if they are on separate listings, you can have them in the same shop. Because again, they aren't, because people are going to Etsy, they're typing in, for example, Christmas Tumblr, wrap or SVG or graphic, and that listing will show up. They'll click into that listing and buy that product. And then they might type in, Christmas Tumblr, and then the other listing will show up for different search terms because one's a digital and one's not. So I think you're safe to put them in the same shop, just not the same listing.
Yeah, and if you combined them, then they would be paying for shipping on a digital download, or not paying for shipping for the other products. You have to figure that out. It's a headache.
100%. And so the next question was like, I agree with the photos, but it seems like so many people are adding photos, like for the memorial products. I'm new. I'll stick with the names and dates. So again, like I mentioned earlier in the calls, like millions of people are starting Etsy print-on-demand businesses. The competition is skyrocketing. What can you do to stand above the competition? How can you raise the barrier of entry for the products that you are selling, offer that much more value? So again, you don't have to do images, but if you're doing the market research and you're seeing that like for this product, for these products that I want to sell, like the ones that are selling well require a photo, then maybe it's worth just like, hey, yes, it's manual. It's going to take an extra couple of minutes to do it manually, but that's what it's going to take to sell it. But I wouldn't just make that decision off the thought of I need to raise the barrier of entry. You have to do the market research that the market research has to tell you to make that decision, if that makes sense. And then if you haven't watched my market research video, I've done the same market research video on Ryan Hogue's channel. So if you go to Ryan's channel, type in Steven, you can watch it there, or you can go to my channel, type in market research, and I have a whole video on that process.
Yeah, and quick note, if you ever do take custom graphics, there is a tool at cartoonize.net that I absolutely love for like you can take like a low resolution photo and cartoonize it. Even if you just apply a very minor effect, it'll like make the graphic look smooth and you'll never know that it was low res. And I just think like the cartoonized effect, generally speaking, makes photos look better in the end. So if you go down that route, cartoonize.net, I endorse it. I use it all the time. So
Fantastic. All right, guys, that is it for this Wednesday's AMA. Thank you guys, everyone, so much for spending your afternoon with us. Thank you, Ryan, so much for jumping on, offering so much value for the last hour. Anyone who is not currently subscribed to Ryan's channel, head over there, subscribe. Ryan, where can people find you if they don't currently know where to find you?
yes, Ryan Hogue Passive Income or Ryan Print on Demand maybe probably works just as well. So Stephen, man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next week.